So we are now on to the last race of the day, the second semifinal of the same event, the women's U17 eights. Over in lane 0, we have Greenwich, lane 1, Cincinnati Juniors, lane 2, Row America Rye, lane 3, White Rock, lane 4, Chicago, lane 5, St. Andrews, lane 6, Atlanta Junior, and lane 7, Indianapolis.
Two crews out of Atlanta that row in the same body of water out of St. Andrew and Atlanta Juniors.
There we go.
They know each other very, very well. They are literally just like skipping stones.
Yeah, a stone's throw.
They are very, very close to one another. So you know that they have seen one another more than just right now. We are already underway. We are off and running. Those referees, again, doing a fantastic job. They've been out there in those boats all day,
keeping this
long.
On time. You know, we had a restart. There's some things that happen out there, keeping everyone channeled into the starting blocks on time and keeping things running.
At this point, we are getting into about 500 meters down in this race, and look how tight this is. Way to finish our second day of racing, our first day of side-by-side action, our full day of AB semifinals with a barn burner. I haven't used that phrase yet. I got to throw that out there. It's going to be a barn burner.
I love it.
It's a barn burner right now because all these boats are side-by-side. No one is really stepping away.
You might feel it a little bit over there in lane 0 by a little bit, but Cincinnati Juniors and Row America Rye neck and neck. White Rock and Chicago not letting them walk away with it. St. Andrew right there with them. Atlanta Juniors still in contact with their fellow Atlanta counterparts, and Indianapolis still overlap. I mean, there's overlap across all crews, but it does look like Greenwich over in lane 0 edging their bow ball out ahead. Cincinnati Juniors in second at current rate, but you never know. As we've seen every single race, there has been some sort of photo finish or change up in what occurs. It does look like the Row America Rye, I would say, maybe third, but White Rock, Chicago, and
St. Andrews having a good row of it here. We saw that happen in their 4 earlier on, but Greenwich is certainly a known entity historically as far as eights go. They've had very, very fast pairs in the past that have gone on to race at the junior national level and that sort of thing. Just all of these, the crews that are starting to see. Maybe we're starting to see just we see sculling. Some crews prioritize sculling events. We see some crews prioritizing. So right now, seeing Greenwich produce some speed, it looks like maybe just a little over half to 3/4 of a length of a lead for them right now. They came out of their time trial. That's why they would have been in that lane with one of the top, some of the top end speed out of that cluster in their particular event. So if the trend continues, that is where they would be as to be predicted. But St. Andrew there, all the way across the race course, they aren't necessarily in second place right now, but to be in that lane, maybe there's something about that lane that you picked out for Dallas earlier on.
Lane 5's got something going on because between St. Andrews,
it's got scrappiness apparently.
Yeah, they're kind of like, let's go. So St. Andrew over in lane 5, lane 4 Chicago, and lane 3 White Rock kind of going for a race here for that 4th position.
And lest Cincinnati Juniors, they look to be in second place right now, very tight with just a small margin over Row America Rye. So those look like maybe they're at least, second for Cincinnati Juniors. Very tight between Row America Rye and Chicago and SA right now. SA looking like they're vying for that second place spot with Cincinnati Juniors. When we get a better angle on it, we can give you more information, but they are certainly up there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crews for 4 spots with, let's not count out White Rock right there. They are in it as well. 6 crews looking at 4 spots to advance to that A final or the B final that will be held later this weekend. But certainly one crew out in front by just a bit. That is still Greenwich out in front. They have not gotten to a full length yet. Cincinnati Juniors is not allowing that to happen. And right now, as we're starting to see this, it does look like Cincinnati Juniors is separating out to that second place.
Right. Yeah,
they're taking control of that spot.
It does seem like that. And then again, White Rock and St. Andrews, I mean, they are going for it. I mean, Chicago, it's all in the thick of it. That 1,900-meter move we were talking about in past races, I mean, this is one of those most exciting races that you remember for a very long time. Being stroke for stroke with another crew to your port or starboard side, staying internal as possible and just trusting your coxswains being able to make those calls, to be able to tell you where you are, that your bow ball is ahead or you're right on that seat, and they're both pushing each other towards this finish line.
So 4 spots are on the line. Row America Rye, Chicago, and SA are those 3 crews that are going to, one of those is not going to go through to the next level. Those 2 darker hulls are St. Andrew and Chicago side by side. It looks like St. Andrew with the advantage, but Chicago fighting hard. Greenwich has gone away with this at this point. They are continuing to extend their lead as the strokes tick by rather than the opposite trend occurring. So they look to be like they want that first place position moving through. I say that Cincinnati Juniors is going, hey, time for our sprint. Here we go. Watch out. Here we come. And they are doing that quite early because that's well ahead of the red buoys because they know there are 4 spots on the line. But their coxswain is also aware of the fact that St. Andrew and Chicago St. Andrew and Chicago are fighting hard on the far side of the course with Row America Rye as well. So Chicago, St. Andrew, Row America Rye. It looks like Chicago has maybe regained the advantage from St. Andrew, and Row America Rye has the advantage on Chicago. So strokes winding down. Never leave it in the hands of the judges. Pour it all out there and take what you want because it is still up for grabs until that horn sounds.
Yep. Last race of the day, we see all of the referee launches following this last race coming all the way down to the finish line.
Here we go. They're going to ramp it up. I saw some people jumping up and down because you can feel the energy that's happening out there. I know that there are cowbells. Even if these aren't your teams, go ahead and ring them. Give them a holler. This is rounding out day 2 right now. Greenwich still out in front. Cincinnati Juniors behind them, separating out. They know they are going for that second place right now. Row America Rye looks like they might have the advantage, but Row America Rye, Chicago, St. Andrew, those are the 3 crews that are going to round out who's going to take the 4th one. It looks like Row America Rye has a decent margin in their sprint over Chicago. Chicago with the margin over SA right now. The pressure is happening. Chicago looks like they are the ones that have decided to be in the top 4 right now. St. Andrew still fighting hard. I love the emotion that I'm seeing.
That
you can
surge.
see, you can see the sprint. You can see the effort. You can see that they want it, but they are still shy of Chicago. But again, keep on going. Every stroke, push the legs until you hear that horn sound, and then keep going. Keep going even more strokes.
Oh. They've taken everything they could out of this race. It came down to the finish line. They just ran out of race course. But Indianapolis still laying it on just ahead of Atlanta.